I'm still connected to the same router, so it should be okay. Y'all hear me fine, right? The acoustics didn't change.
No,
Yeah, you're good.
That was always my thing with the studio. It's like, all right, we're gonna have great acoustics in here, and it's we'll all be recording here at this table. And then it never happened. I've never done a local recording here, right? Cesar?
not that I can think of.
Nope. That was March 2020.
I don't think so.
It's been 3. Sure. 1, 2, 3. It's been 3 years. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. We're live, boys.
But that would be why. That mythical 2020 year.
Yeah. That's when you joined us too, right? Sure. 1, 2, 3. Sure.
I guess.
Yeah, you joined probably July 2020. You're 3 years deep. Does it feel like 3 years in? We did, what, 2 before that? 5 years in? 5-ish? 5 adjacent?
3-hour tour.
That's what it started out as. Now we're just living out of the suitcase. But the movie star has all the outfits. That'd be Brant. Brant has the best outfits. Brant's the millionaire and his wife.
And it's dual roll.
Oh, I guess if we're gonna talk about balling status, I'll
You play some NBA ballers?
I'll send y'all what's in my garage at the moment.
Okay. I'd like to know what this is. This Brant artifact.
All right, hopefully that'll be sending in 2 seconds.
Or use the Skype chat. Oh, we got 6 people already. Welcome 6 people to the nonsense. Probably Boosh and Mrs. Boosh.
What is
The
that?
feedback, I don't know if it's like if I have my phone too close, it's like nonstop feedback. Where did you get that? Oh, Brant. I see all your shit in the background too.
Yeah, I haven't opened him up yet, but he's that big boy is 13 foot.
What?
And he sings, and you can pose
I've got
him.
to see this when you set it
You
up.
can change out his eyes.
The
He's available at the Home Depot.
homes of the depots.
Friend of the show, Atlanta native, Home Depot.
Show sponsor Arthur Blank.
Future sponsor.
Shirt sponsor. Bleach is on here with a dinosaur. Your tombstones. We have a hill that's like perfect. The front has a hill. Where did you get those tombstones from? They're like ideal for us to have like a graveyard thing going up that spot.
So we got some of those really just like thin tombstones. And you can buy those at Lowe's and Home Depot. I keep adding year after year. I found I think it was Spirit Halloween has some of those in the background. There's like a Beetlejuice one that actually lights up.
I never thought to check there. Do we have one close to us?
Spirit Halloween, proximity? Not this year. Not this year. Last year we did.
You know they're taking over the Margarita
literally
Bills.
Right around the corner.
The old restaurants.
Oh.
I think I sent you that. Is there one?
The closest one, because you can go to their website and look on the store finder. And that is, I think the closest one that I found was in Macon.
What?
Believe it or not.
No way.
There might be.
Oh, I got one close to me. I see.
I'm about to say you might have one a little bit closer.
Yes, significantly.
But you also have to double check, because I know when I checked their website earlier this year, it still said the one that was open last year was open this year.
Because the seasonal shit. Not. Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, that one directly behind the box in that picture that I like painstakingly engraved and and spent several hours making.
That's the one I was looking at. You made that one?
I made that one. Now it's available this year. They have it this year at Spirit Halloween, the Emily Binks one. I was like perusing their website today and saw it because I'll send it. I still think mine looks better. But personal preference plus all the blood, sweat, and tears.
I mean, it's different when you make something yourself. Yes, Buish. That is the correct location. It's the one I'm looking at. As we try not to pinpoint locales. Favorite locations.
So let me see.
Let me real quick. I gotta cut the air on. It's fucking hot right here.
Oh my gosh. So let's see.
Oh, shit.
So yeah, when I go to their website and you go to our state, they have Albany, Alpharetta, Athens, Atlanta, Augusta, Estelle, Brookhaven, Brunswick, Beaufort, Columbus, Dalton, Douglasville, Duluth, Kennesaw, Lawrenceville, Macon, Marietta, Noonan, Rome, Roswell, Savannah, Statesboro, Swanee, Tucker, Valdosta, and Waycross.
So sorry we couldn't make it Augusta work. Emily Binks.
Augusta.
Augusta. What is Emily Binks from?
Hocus Pocus.
There it is. The reference was lost on me.
You've never seen Hocus Pocus?
It's been a long time.
Oh my gosh. You gotta watch it with your
It's one of y'all's
girls.
faves. The hocuses of the pocuses.
The only thing that you have to remember is that they do talk about you have to sacrifice a virgin or a virgin lit the candle.
Oh.
And I remember when my sister let her...
There was a discussion afterwards.
She was like, I don't know, she was like 8 or 9 or whatever, and she let her watch Hocus Pocus. And she's, what's a virgin? She's like, somebody that's of pure heart. Like, yep, there you go. That'll work.
Like Link and Zelda.
Yeah.
For our gaming audience. Oh, God. All right, you guys ready? After much delay. God, this is going to be a news-heavy one.
Yes, it is. That's what happens when we...
Take a week off, and there's 2 major press conferences, maybe 3.
And there's, a bunch of press conferences. Yep. I didn't even put any of the Tokyo Game Show stuff in here, but it's kind of like here and there. So,
do we skip games played or keep it super light?
I haven't really played much.
Oh, that's good. This will be a news show then, maybe. Cesar agrees. I think most of my games played will be alongside Cesar. As one does. All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 273 of the NOFODcast. We are No Outside Food or Drink, the Southeast premier video game podcast. Tonight, shit ton of news. Brant, thanks for building this massive pile of news for us to sift through. like a cat box that hasn't been cleaned in a week and a half. We're just sorting through all of the news, scoop by scoop,
sifting it out,
scooping it out.
Yep.
Tonight, don't get too excited over the Microsoft leak. Why not? Apple upping their game? Question mark. What does that mean? Nintendo Direct. Somebody's cursor is following along with me. There was a PlayStation State of Play. More Kirby is coming to Nintendo Switch Online Plus. We have your PlayStation Extra and Premium titles and your late September Game Pass games. After a 2-week delay, I'm one of your hosts, Richard Bergman. Joined tonight by the lead contributor to the Cat Box, Brant McKee.
Yep, with 4 cats, that's
Brant,
a lot.
thanks for all your offerings and droppings. You did well compiling this 2 weeks worth of news. Yes, Clump and Seal, as a matter of fact. Buish might be...
Oh.
Friend of the show, Buish may be
familiar
with the old Clump and Seal. Even though we now also get the Clump and Seal Glide, which lets you like slide the pan back and forth. And well, it's super, super clean.
Fancy.
Yeah. Fancy. Oh, that's the food. That's Fancy Feast. That's what they eat.
Yeah.
That's before it comes to the box. Also here, and not tired of me or anyone else on the show, Cesar Concepcion II.
Hello.
Our resident page master and lore master. Cesar, any new lore or pages to impart upon us?
No.
Find out later in the show, right?
Yes.
It'll come to you. It'll come to us. We do this together. Buish agrees with the Clump and Seal. Clump and Seal have a theme song?
Not that I'm aware.
I mean, something as easy as Clump and Seal, like Clump and Seal Slide, should have a nice jingle to it. That would have been one from 2.5 Men where he wrote the jingle maybe for the cat litter and made millions. Remember that show? The show was good, and then Charlie Sheen went off the deep end.
Yeah, that tiger blood.
Tiger blood. Somebody used that reference the other day, and I could not wrap my head around Charlie Sheen. I was like, who the fuck? Where's the tiger blood thing come from? I could not. It did not click. They were like,
he was
Charlie
winning
Sheen.
too hard.
Yep. It was the winning and all that. I was like, oh my god. It was spreading AIDS, and it was weird there for him. He lost the show. They kicked him off and put Ashton Kutcher on the show.
Yeah.
Is that who we'd bring in if is that the replacement for the one of the three of us? 2.5 Men. We're
I don't know.
We're the video game version of 2.5 Men.
He's kind of got his own things going on right now.
Oh, Thinking Inside the Box joined us. Yes, caught you guys again. Thank you for joining us. I saw your strategy guide post. I'm trying to keep up with your strategy guides. Good evening. Who is...
Oh, did you talk about the Versus strategy guides?
No, that's you, sir. That's your contribution.
Cool. Versus strategy guides.
I have a couple Versus games and then a couple Double Jump. Do you have any of the little Double Jump ones?
Double Jump?
Like...
No.
They made a bunch... I feel like they did a bunch of Nippon Ichi guides, right, Cesar? Back in the day?
It seems right. Those little tiny medium size or small size guides or something.
I mean, they were fully featured. It wasn't like they were just
No, I think they were smaller books.
Yeah.
Thicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were like full guides. They were just like on smaller print and pages and stuff. I think I have a Castlevania one. Oh, Thinking Inside the Box is backing up about 11 new ones now. Damn. It's a big jump in the strategy guide. There's a couple cool strategy guide subreddits since nobody else cares about strategy guides. It's kind of our small circle, and nobody else makes them. I did see the Horizon Forbidden West one was on sale recently, and part of me was like, I don't have that game, but I feel like I should buy the guide to support getting strategy guides again. It would be nice. Thinking Inside the Box says my co-host picked up a Versus guide for Luigi's Mansion.
Ooh.
I don't think I have that one. I have the Nintendo Power one that they gave you for re-upping your subscription. It's got my address and stuff on the back of the guide. That one literally came in the mail. Remember when they would do that? You would re-up for another year?
Yeah.
So you get the magazine for a year, and then they send you a guide of your choice, whatever guide you picked. Those were the days, man. God bless print media. All right, let's get into the news as I bemoan the death of print media. Speaking of which, I won't get off the soapbox just yet. I re-upped. I think I told y'all about re-upping at GameStop for Game Informer, right? And the digital subscription's $15, and the physical print one is $20. And I paid the $20 to support the physical print, so I could get a print magazine, print gaming magazine in the year of our Lord 2023. Guess how many I've received?
0.
Nothing. What'd I pay the extra $5 for? And then I see people posting online like, here's this month's issue. Like, it would have been nice to have that one. I would have liked the one with Final Fantasy 16 stuff on it. No dice. Brant let off the news, and I closed out all my tabs with... Oh, here we go. I got them up. Microsoft says major Xbox leak consists of old emails and documents. This comes from Tom Ivan at VideoGamesChronicle.com. Microsoft's head of gaming has acknowledged a major leak which has revealed a host of confidential details about its gaming business. This kind of rolled out, about a week ago? Maybe last Tuesday or Wednesday?
Yeah, it was mid last week. And it was actually due to Microsoft's own mess up.
Right.
Somebody left a file in the court case stuff, and people on the internet just started trying to figure things out. Somebody plugged it into Adobe, and it popped up a humongous PDF of all this stuff.
Because initially it did reek of like a FTC leak, right? Like some sort of documents that was eventually going to come out, but it ended up being Microsoft themselves, which was a bit bizarre. Oh, I got to add on BGC. Documents published on a court website as part of Microsoft's legal battle with the Federal Trade Commission. They were the ones with the droid army, right? The Federal Trade Commission.
The Federal Trade Commission.
They built the... Yeah.
Roger, sure.
Potentially laid bare key elements of the company's gaming strategy for years to come. Addressing widespread coverage of the confidential materials, Xbox boss Phil Spencer claimed, so much has changed since the emails and documents in question were written or created. His quote on Twitter, I refuse to call it anything else, quote, "We've seen the conversation around old emails and documents. It is hard to see our team's work shared in this way because so much has changed and there's so much to be excited about right now, and in the future, we will share the real plans when we are ready." The gist of those leaked documents was Microsoft is planning to release a redesigned Xbox Series X console codenamed Brooklyn with a new design and controller. Microsoft's gaming boss Phil Spencer told colleagues in 2020 that he saw Nintendo as a key acquisition target. Cue your Nintendo laughing at Microsoft jokes now in 2001. Unannounced Bethesda games include Dishonored 3, a new Doom, Oblivion, and Fallout 3 remasters, and a trilogy of Indiana Jones games. Not one, not two. The next evolution of the Xbox controller will have improved haptic feedback, an accelerometer, speakers, and a rechargeable and replaceable battery. Rechargeable and replaceable battery. Does that mean the Duracell thing's gonna... Duracell?
I'm sure they're pretty.
It was... Well, no, it was...
It's on every fucking ad on Twitter like 6 months ago.
Everything that I've seen, it's... unlike the Elite 2, where it's completely... rechargeable battery, you can't do anything, it's closed off, kind of like the PS5's DualSenses. This would be that you would have the option to use either right off the bat.
So like a play and charge kit versus the...
Yeah, I'm assuming it would come with a rechargeable battery, but then you could also take it out and it would still have the regular battery terminals in there, and you could just plug the Duracells right in.
Whatever keeps
Trademark.
Duracell happy.
Yep.
Duracell trademark.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I used those first two Duracells that come with it, and then right in the trash, and back to my Inteloops, back to my rechargeables. That play and charge kit was a big deal, though, and they've done it ever since, right? You can still buy a play and charge kit for the new,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't have battery issues with my controllers, typically. I did recently go on a tangent of finding an eBay seller that puts new batteries in the 3D glasses for the PlayStation monitor for some ungodly reason. So there's a side tangent. Anyways, moving along. Microsoft seemingly plans to harness the power of cloud processing in its next-gen Xbox console, which could launch in 2028. That seems so close and yet so far away, right? Microsoft plans to let players customize the appearance of a Series X console in the future. I guess like their controller design lab thing. But they also currently have the skins that you can get. Like I saw influencers with the Starfield wrap skin thing that made that console look like a Starfield console. But does that cut into your special design Halo ones and things like that, but you never see those on the shelf. It's not like they're driving consumer demand. That's just going straight on the secondhand market, or the flipper market, as it were. Microsoft assessed a range of third-party options to fill a, quote, huge hole in its lineup caused by Starfield's delay, including potentially paying $300 million to get Star Wars Jedi Survivor on Game Pass at launch. That would have been a big deal. I'm sure all this stuff gets kicked around. Like, again, like, don't hold companies to these things and put things in a tizzy, because then we never get to see this kind of stuff. We love to see the inside baseball and the development history and how things are going on a game, and people will just scrutinize everything. then we never know.
I'm sure even Apple wants to buy Nintendo. So
who wouldn't? Who wouldn't want that catalog? And you get Nintendo World and the media property and the number 1 movie of the year, number 2 movie of the year.
Yep.
Spencer also commented on the leak in greater detail in an email sent to Microsoft employees on Tuesday, which was obtained by The Verge. Today, several documents submitted in the court proceedings related to our proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard were unintentionally disclosed. I know this is disappointing, even if many of the documents are well over a year old and our plans have evolved, he wrote. I also know we all take the confidentiality of our plans and our partners' information very seriously. Was that like a warning? This leak obviously is not us living up to that expectation. We will learn from what happened and be better going forward. So maybe he screws with people and puts some of that stuff on the shelf behind him when he does his next interview.
Probably.
He's got a decent troll game about him. He does embrace some of this stuff.
Well, I mean, case in point, obviously they at some point definitely had plans for that. What we knew as Keystone,
the little streaming box thing.
Yeah, the little streaming box, and that even wound up on his shelf. And they actually, no pun intended, shelved it.
Brant, we see what you did there.
I said no pun intended. But we don't know why. That maybe they wanted to rework it, or it just didn't fit into their ecosystem, or maybe they're just taking it back to square one and doing something completely different. Because, like Phil said, plans change all the time. And I think a lot of these were, 2020-ish.
What's changing you guys' lives since 2020? A shit ton, right?
Yes.
Think how many turns that boat has had. I was using a boat analogy earlier, so it just came to mind.
Boat.
No, like a battleship is like slow turning.
Yeah.
And then you have a speedboat that can like whip around. But there's, we all had plans, I'm sure, 2023 and 2020, and this is not anything like what we would have thought, for better and worse. Thinking Inside the Box says, I would love to be able to see the behind-the-scenes email chains on all the stuff without the leaks. Agreed. And the internet has become too opinionated. They're right. There's way too many hot takes. Not everything is so black and white and fanboyish. There's a lot of like gray area and history that could be absorbed and that sort of thing. Is that it for that story? I'm sure there's going to be more.
Yeah. And I think there was like some other stuff in there. Like I know people picked out that there was a possible handheld in this line of consoles that they were showing, and a lot of people were freaking out that the concept for the redesign of the Series X doesn't have a disk drive. And
the Brooklyn with an I.
Yeah,
I almost read it as that, and I was like, is that what they intend? Is it actually Brooklyn? But all their code names had funky spellings. Or not funky, they're just non-traditional as far as how you would expect.
But also to point out what you guys are saying, I mean, they had that short list of those companies they want to buy, and you notice they bought Activision Blizzard, and that was never on their short list. So
Nintendo was kicked around, and what was it?
Was it Square Enix?
Square Enix keeps coming
Sega.
up.
Yeah.
Was it Warner Brothers, like, specifically? Yeah, I think he mentioned Warner Brothers at the time.
Yeah.
Which is still kind of up in the air. And Cesar was mentioning this past week, like, get that Bally Midway collection. Get those games going somewhere.
Yeah, Warner Brothers is a mess right now, so.
Where are they tied up in other property issues, like other IP type entanglements? Is that what's conflicting with their game stuff?
I mean, they get developers, but I mean, the only catalog you probably bring with you is the Midway catalog. I mean, those, unless they happen to get DC Comics, but that's an IP owned by Warner Bros. They're not gonna let that go. So you have to license those from them, even though you got that developers, which it's counterproductive. But
and I'm not a huge fan of all their business practices, but is like a limited run or somebody big enough to maybe purchase one of those retro catalogs at this point? Or is it the IP that maybe is too expensive? I know we don't deal in this stuff, but I'm just...
I guess it's just somebody would... I mean, right now would be a good time for a third-party company to negotiate to do that. So, I mean, because Warner Brothers right now is just trying to make money. So,
yeah.
If they are hands-off and they can license it and they make a profit on it, they would freaking totally do it right now.
So what do you get with Midway at this point? The old arcade properties, but you don't get, like, NFL Blitz?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you would... I mean, you could
What's
get
the one we
Blitz.
were talking about that we brought up? We were like, damn, what's Midway doing with all these games? Because, I mean, they got Mortal Kombat in that acquisition, but that's basically Warner Brothers' big thing. They trot out every couple years, right?
I mean, that's all they're doing right now is just Gotham and Batman and...
Is that out yet?
Kombat.
Is that new Mortal Kombat out yet? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I saw a Digital Foundry thing, but
Came out like 10 days ago,
totally.
yeah.
Have you not been seeing all the train wreck with the Switch version?
I watched Digital Foundry's thing, but it was exactly what I expected. I feel like it's almost the exact same thing as the last Mortal Kombat. But at least this one's like fully featured. It looks like booty hole, but it's got everything in there as the other versions.
Yeah, somebody took a picture of a dog and they said console version and took a hand puppet of a dog and said Switch version, and I was like, okay.
It's about right. It's close.
Yeah. It looks close, but it's totally not the dog. So, yeah.
Man, some of those characters.
I mean, they came back. Ed Boon came back and said they were going to update its best.
They did that with the last one. Those characters, I was looking on the Digital Foundry thing. I'm like, man, that's not even. That looks like a totally different person. It's not even close to the same facial model and stuff like that.
I don't know, man.
Plus the skin's all smoothed and the eyes are like popping out of their heads, and
it's almost your fan favorite Assassin's Creed trilogy. Released when it first came out.
Unity.
Unity with the bug eyes and everything.
Teeth. Well, even the one with the Ezio collection. Remember that when they showed it with the bug and eyes over there? Like, yeah.
Whew. Patch it. Make it right.
Oh, they will eventually.
Brent, you want to handle this one, or Cesar, you want to jump on iPhone 15 content? Let us know if you're going to pre-order. I did see these games are going to work on the M1 iPads. I didn't know that till today. So if you have an M1 or later iPad, these same titles are going to work on there. That M1 silicon must be top tier. I know it's going to age better than a bunch of the A14, 15 Bionic stuff, but I didn't know it would run these type of titles.
No, I mean, let's see. You got according to CNET, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Assassin's Creed Mirage are all coming to iPhone 15 Pro. It's a true console gaming to the iPhone. As you said earlier, it's going to be powered by the A17 Pro chip, which Apple revealed last Tuesday, before last. The new processor takes the upcoming iPhone Pro to a new level of mobile gaming with better graphic performance, ray tracing, and technology that displays realistic light in video games. And this is not streamed, right? This is all native.
Yeah,
what I believe, right?
It's native.
Yeah. And not like a cell phone port. Like this isn't the close your eyes and imagine
this is
the
console versions. Yeah.
Unlike the Switch example we just gave for Mortal Kombat, like it would be the full Mortal Kombat on there.
Which is pretty cool.
Awesome. We've been thinking like. So we would get like Resident Evil 4 mobile. It would be a bastard version of Resident Evil 4, right? For phones with weird controls and all that sort of stuff. And then it seems like the pivot was, we'll let something else render all the stuff and then we can stream to it, right? You can do Game Pass on this thing. You can do remote play on this thing. You can do that sort of stuff. This is native to the hardware. It's going to run the game as you would on a PlayStation or a PC or Max Silicon apparently, so that's freaking crazy to me. With actual ray tracing and everything.
Yeah, and of course because they're actually adding USB-C to these iPhones, they did show the fact that you can hook it up to a monitor as well and display on a monitor. And still run the game off the phone. I believe I saw the other day that Resident Evil is going to be released. I think it was the 30th of October. So
yes.
Interesting timing for a horror game.
The day before Halloween.
And they're all free to start, if I read that correctly. Like, you get the first
I
couple
think
hours
so.
or first couple missions, and then you pay, and it's still a good price after that.
The the biggest drawback though is during this presentation, or it wasn't even during the presentation. It was, I want to say, the days following. They showed the layout that you will be using to control your character, and it is literally PlayStation, the virtual PlayStation buttons on the screen. It takes up the majority of the screen.
Right.
So that is always the drawback with mobile gaming. If you do not pair a controller to the device, you have to use the on-screen controls.
Which, if you're this far in, you're going to go ahead and pair a controller to that. If that's going to be your main method for playing one of these games on the go, it's super convenient. Because you don't need an extra screen or console or anything. You have what you were going to play it on already. So, are you tempted to make either of these your primary way of playing it on the phone?
No.
Okay.
If it's a really good deal, I might pick up like the Resident Evils. But I'm not going to do like jump in the water for 69.
And they do take up a good bit of space, I saw. So.
Oh, of course those games are pretty beefy.
And that whole game on there, and not a bastard version, not some mobile thing, so. I'll be excited to see what battery does. So we all have Steam Decks, and we know what a high-res, newer game does to the Steam Deck, and we hear the fans cut on and the heat come out of it. Somebody on Reddit was when I was doing all my Steam Deck research before I bought mine, they were talking about the smell of the fans and the heat coming out of the top of the Steam Deck, and then like the first couple times I felt and heard mine come on, I like slowly tilted it, and I was like, let me smell that Steam Deck heat smell.
Get the electronics burning.
Trying to get it in frame, it won't focus.
Was I say 60 to 80?
It's a 60 gig minimum for Resident Evil, and that does not include any patches.
For RE4 for PS5.
Yeah. Rear.
But I don't remember what is the minimum size now, because I know the Pro Max is what 256, 512, and a terabyte.
Those are the minimums for them.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Something like that.
I know my phone, the minimum I could get for my Pro Max was a 256. It couldn't get lower than that.
Next up. Sorry.
Nintendo Direct.
I'm in the chat. Nintendo Direct. I guess it's old news by now, but we haven't covered it. We could probably steamroll through some of this stuff.
It was it was an awesome Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
Again,
really good stuff.
Props to Mara Station, this Australian site, because they always keep things in order.
Sequential every time they do the.
They're doing God's work over there.
Sequential, yeah. What's so hard about being sequential?
You'd be surprised. Every time I type in and look, everybody wants to talk about the big reveal first.
Yeah,
always.
I mean, IGN. That's IGN's clickbait, right? That's going to be the thumbnail and what drives traffic and everything. These people are just doing the Lord's work. They let off. I didn't watch this live, so this is in order, right? Like, I just remember the tweet.
Yeah, it's in order.
They let off with Splatoon 3 expansion pass called Side Order. It's gonna have,
which we had seen, or they had announced. I think at the last thing, but they didn't. It was literally just a title card kind of thing.
New expansion coming in Nintendo Switch Online.
This is the final one, right, Brent? I think.
Yes.
The final to the expansion wave.
We're gonna jump back into some Splatoon 3.
This does look pretty cool.
I enjoyed our Splatoon lunches.
I play once a week.
That's our still jumps in.
Dang.
Yeah.
Next up, we got a Mario vs. Donkey Kong title. New one. The Game Boy Advance Classic returns as Donkey Kong steals all the mini Marios. Mario must retrieve them in puzzle-filled stages. This updated version features cooperative play with a friend. Mario vs. Donkey Kong is scheduled for release on February 16th, 2024. Did it not have a subtitle? I thought there was a subtitle behind it.
Nope.
That's it. Mario vs. Donkey Kong.
Literally just Mario vs. Donkey Kong. It's basically just a remade version of it.
So
I think you're still confused on the Wii U one you were researching.
Yes, I was researching a Wii U one with a 3DS tie-in. What was it called? Tipping Stars or something like that?
Tipping Stars.
Yeah, we're missing one in the series, Brant. We never got it here. Europe got it digitally, and Japan got it physically. And I was like, Cesar, you ever heard of this? And it's like March of the Minis, Tipping Stars, or something like that.
Put on your eye patch. Put on your eye patch,
Yes,
sir.
and unfurl the sails, hoist the anchor. This looks like a twist. So I never played the GBA ones or was there a DS one maybe?
I think so.
Yeah.
I didn't play those. One of my first ever Game Boy games was Donkey Kong 94 because famously I wanted Donkey Kong Country Land. Donkey Kong Land, I think it was called.
And you got Donkey Kong Land.
Yes, I did. I got Donkey Kong 94, which I was like, this isn't what I wanted, but it ended up being, I think, the superior game because it was an old school style Donkey Kong with added elements of getting the items in each stage and getting the key, and it was that was a classic. And I saw a lot of those elements in this one, so I don't know if that series continued in this series or they added some things. But this looked incredible, and it's only $50. It's less than a normal title. Kids were very excited about this one. Next up, we saw more of Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
Still looks like a good
January
game.
17th. Oozes style. I love the style in this game. I don't know that Switch is going to be the place where I play it. Did we know The Lost Crown was the subtitle? I feel like that's new. Maybe not.
I cannot remember.
I don't remember. It never clicked that it was like The Lost Crown. Horizon Chase 2 is coming up. The racing game returns with a sequel featuring new cars and tracks and 4-player couch co-op. The title arrives today. It's already out. Horizon Chase 2. Super Crazy Rhythm Castle, a rhythm title with more than 20 songs inspired by Konami games. It will be released on November 14th. Did y'all see any of the game or any of the songs featured in there?
I did not.
That'd be interesting.
Did not watch the English version.
I wasn't able to see this live.
I got too caught up in the next title.
Which is?
Spy Family. Spy Anya.
Is this a crossover of sorts? You guys have to fill it in on this one.
Operation Memories. It follows the one of the main characters of the Spy Family anime, the young little telepath named Anya, and it's basically you make memories and create a photo album. It showed some like mini games, doing some fun little wholesome things. It looks really cute.
And y'all love these characters in that story, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's a good.
Second season's coming up, and like in a week,
couple weeks.
Seems like good timing to announce
October
a game, right?
6th. Yeah.
Oh yes, of course. And then we got another look at Super Mario RPG being released November 17th.
An important day. PS3 launch day. Next up was a surprise. We hadn't heard anything about this game before, right? And now we're getting we don't have to put on the eye patch for the second game.
I never did.
Cesar got a physical copy. He never sailed. He never sailed the seas.
I can reach for it. Let's go.
Do it.
What is this news? What is this news? Cesar, fill us in. That's a pretty box
Another
art too.
code R. See, you say you don't sail the seas, but it's got R in the title.
Oh, see what you did there, Brant.
There we go.
And you could play that.
Can
you play that on a system that has been allowed to access alternate storefronts?
After I remove the region coding on
I
it.
can't remember if it does that or not.
You'd have to do the region free.
And then I installed it onto a external hard drive and booted up off that. And that's how you get around it.
That's the way to go.
Yep.
We are, of course, alluding to another code, Recollection. Or is that Recollection?
Recollection, I believe.
It's a recollection, though.
Another code everywhere but here. I think they call it Trace Memory.
It's a recollection of games. Yeah. The Nintendo DS classic Trace Memory returns with a new adventure that follows Ashley as she solves puzzles to find her father on an island. Is that like Myst? The game will include the DS title as well as a sequel that never made it to America. Another code. I'm sticking with Recollection. I think they did something there. What are you talking about? You think it's Recollection?
Like remastered?
Yes. But you're trying to remember. It's like a recollection. Another code, Recollection, will be re-released on January 19th, 2024. The Princess Peach game we saw last time now has a title.
Oh,
this looks fantastic.
This looks so good.
There's 2 members of my household that are extra thrilled about this title. Princess Peach must save the Sparkle Theater in this solo adventure with transformations that give her new abilities such as Sword Fighter, Detective. I did not know what they said this was when it was during the show. Patissiere. I don't know if that's like a pastry chef, I'm assuming. Kung Fu and many more. The title will arrive on March 22nd. That is, of course, Princess Peach Showtime! Exclamation point. What do we have next? Oh, a new Saga game.
Saga Emerald Beyond.
The Saga franchise is back with its 6 unique characters.
First one that's not a port.
This is a brand new
So
Saga
pretty
game
cool.
for the first time since PS2?
Forever. Vita. I
Oh,
think that
Vita, shit.
Circlet one,
Oh, wow.
I think came out for it, and then they ported that over. Everything's been ported now. This is like the true first new Saga game.
Are they accessible-ish outside of the Vita? Where can you play the Saga? I know that Saga Collection's on...
No, that Saga for the Vita got ported to PS4
Okay.
and Xbox and Switch. I mean, everything's ported now. I think the only thing that's not out is the OG Romancing Saga because they ported the remake from the PS2 remake over instead of
the
doing
Super
OG
Famicom. We never...
Yeah, that's the only one.
We didn't start getting that series until PlayStation 1, right?
And Saga Frontier 2. That's the other one that's missing.
But that's been announced as a port, right? I know we got the first
Not
one.
yet.
They didn't announce Saga Frontier 2? Oh,
Not yet.
interesting. Thought that was already a thing. I'm not the Saga
The
expert.
Saga Frontiers were like weird side games. I don't know.
I think I bought.
deep into
I think I bought that one
the
recently
world.
because it was not expensive. Was the
It's
reason that it came to mind. Next up was Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3. The first 3 Tomb Raider titles returned in this remastered collection. Recollection.
Which I think me and you talked about it, Richard. I think they look like the PC versions, right? And don't look like the PlayStation Saturn ones. I think that's why Aspire's name is on there because I think they handled the PC.
They're off,
versions.
man. I want to be gung ho for these and have them be accessible, and that's fine and everything. But something about I need to look at more trailers or something because it just looked off to me. Like they took textures and spread them out over a flat surface. So, like Cesar was saying, most people played Tomb Raider on either PC hardware or PlayStation back in the day, or some weirdos like me did the Saturn version at a certain point.
Saturn
It's
version
not
was
bad.
good, man. Saturn version is good.
And those 32-bit platforms used like dithering and scaling for their polygons. So you'd be running down a cave, and the cave wouldn't be exactly smooth. It would kind of pop and move. So think of the walls in Metal Gear Solid, the first Metal Gear Solid, when you're like moving past the walls and the floor. Like they have a movement to them, and your mind's eye kind of blends them together into a surface. They took those same type things, and there's no movement behind them. So it just looks like a flat polygon with a almost like an N64 version. So if they took Tomb Raider and made an N64 version, but it actually ran at like, a Dreamcast resolution or something. There's just, and like Cesar said, Aspire's name was on that one too, but I need to look at this one some more. Either way, comes out Valentine's Day, and it's cool that people can play Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 outside of PlayStation 1.
I think they took the easy route because I think the easy way out because I think those PC ports had all those extra levels and shit that weren't available on those other versions we played. I think that's the reason. That's probably the reasoning behind it.
They did say there was new content, like cut stuff. So it's a director's cut of sorts, and they said you could switch between the graphics. But I'm looking at it like, what are we switching between? Oh, it's like going to the eye doctor when you're doing the test. Is like A or B, and they both suck.
There is definitely a noticeable. It's sharper.
Is it
edges in the first one?
know.
Everything else looks a little bit more smooth on past 2. But
yeah, the remastered ones are like some of the fencing looks updated, like the background stuff. There's subtle differences.
Yeah, but you're right. It's not like a dramatic difference.
But I mean, to your point, Richard, I think you play those PS1 games, and you try to recreate those moments. It's like you try to recreate those graphics, but I don't know. I think they just decided to do. Has the most content.
Okay, it's not horrible. I'm looking at it again. It's not.
You probably have to see the motion to get a full judgment.
Right, more than just a trailer. And this is coming out on everything, right? In this Switch, PC,
Yes.
I
yeah.
believe
PS5,
so.
Xbox.
Yeah, just like I think they came out later. And I think the Spy on You is also coming out on everything, and then we all already know Prince of Persia is coming on everything. So
Oh yeah.
I think that was it that they announced they were coming on, and the Saga games come on and everything. So
All right, we talked about it. I watched the trailer. This is fine. It's not. And again, it's making these games accessible. They're stuck on PC that I don't think Steam behaves too well with these.
it's hit or miss depending on the graphics card
Right.
you have. So
And then not everybody has PS1s and PS2s and PS3s sitting around in the PS1 discs. So this is important. I hope they do a good job with it. Is my main thing. If I sound critical, it's because I want them to do a good job.
I mean, we haven't seen any of the Gex gameplay, right? I mean, I know they're doing that with Gex, but they're throwing in that Carbon engine with the PS1 ISOs. So I'm like, I kind of wish they would have done that, but no.
Yeah.
Because I do like the Carbon. I do like the Carbon engine. It does a pretty good job from what I've seen. I haven't seen any of the PS1 stuff outside of the Toomba.
You're right. So. It's because of the remastered elements of this, though. I think they wanted a little bit more of a touch up than just throwing it in that Carbon engine. We say throwing it in that Carbon engine like it's just they flip a switch, right? The game developers in us.
Dropping it.
Yeah,
it
goes, right?
It's so easy. Why didn't you do it?
It takes work. I'm sure the games don't magically not crash at the end of it. So
also not coming to other consoles, Detective Pikachu returns. Pikachu and Tim continue to investigate cases using their detective skills and the Pokemon special abilities. Detective Pikachu Returns is scheduled for release on October 6th. Oh, hell. I think Jeremy and Russell bought this as soon as it was announced and came out. Trombone Champ, the rhythm title. Trombone Champ is coming to Switch, taking advantage of the Joy-Con to play the instrument, and it is multiplayer on Nintendo Switch. It is already out, and it's $15.
I do like the using the
you can tell the distance of the trombone, right? Isn't that what it does?
Yeah, it's pretty genius. Yeah, it's genius.
We took the Steam version to a camping trip a couple weeks ago. I think it talked about it on the show, but it was a wild hit hearing the crazy trombone madness. Friend of the show, Mrs. Bush, said it sounds like someone who's learning how to play trombone, so it's pretty close to that slide. Almost hitting the notes.
We heard that trombone.
We did.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I know that sound.
Someone is playing Trombone Champ on the loudspeakers. What's up next?
Next up was Battle Crush, Battle Royale brawler inspired by various mythologies. Free-to-play beta open this year. We have War Tales, a tactical RPG. All you have to do is prepare our soldiers and defend your villages. It's a Switch exclusive. We have Contra, brand new. Let's see. It reimagines the Contra franchise with cooperative 4 players.
Way 4 was in this one, right?
Trying to remember. I think so. It definitely looked like one of their titles.
Oddly enough, I watched the Japanese Nintendo Direct, and this was not announced on it. I came back and was like, oh, okay.
This one was this the Atlas one?
Yeah, this
Unicorn Overlord.
It's from the people who made 13 Sentinel, same studio, but Vanilla.
Yeah, this is a tactic RPG coming March 2024 called Unicorn Overlord. Looks pretty dang good.
The Vanillaware game, right?
Vanillaware.
That's coming to everything too, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, that art style is beautiful.
PS5, 4, Xbox, and Switch. I think the PS4 one is digital only, if I remember.
Another look at Luigi's Mansion 2 HD.
It's fantastic.
The 3DS title coming summer 2024.
One of my children is extremely excited about this.
Complete with 4-player multiplayer there. Nintendo. Oh yeah, this was the weird. They announced it in the Nintendo Museum. They just kind of showed building plans for this.
It's not a digital thing, right?
It's not a digital.
Where's it at? The theme park?
No, I want to say this was in Kyoto. I can't remember.
I would love a digital access.
It's somewhere in Japan. Amiibo updates. We've got the release for the 2 new Tears of the Kingdom, Ganondorf, and Zelda will be released November 3rd, 2024. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is getting 2 more amiibos, Noah and Mio. They will be released January 19th, 2024. And the very last Super Smash Brothers amiibo for Sora will be released sometime in 2024.
Do all the fighters have amiibo now? Sora was the last.
Sora was the very last one.
Complete the collection.
Unless Nintendo's ready to do something very funny and throw Geno in
Which there's more smoke than fire, right?
There's somebody spinning that rumor around.
Yeah.
Somebody was telling them delete your account, and then whenever he tells somebody to delete their account, they've been right.
That would be a late ass addition for Smash Brothers, right? Or do you launch?
Yes.
Do you launch new Switch hardware with a Smash Brothers Ultimate with 4K, GameCube controller support, all the works, and a new secret character, plus all the DLC from the Switch game?
You never
Sell
know.
a shit ton more. The Mario Kart 8 Deluxe method, because that still sells gangbusters.
Yes, it does. Still putting it in those
still
holiday
all
bundles.
these years later, 7 years worth of bundles. God damn.
Yes.
Fucking OG Switch hardware. Not even the OLED one.
That is weird. When every other Switch bundle is a like new console, I guess, not bundle, but like a new special edition is always the OLED.
Yeah. Next up, a very random surprise. F099.
Yay.
Cesar, you played this. Do you want to touch on this since we're not going to go deep in games played?
I played this as well.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm the odd man out.
It's
I
fun.
put like an hour or two into it. It's not that bad. I mean, it does like a forced tutorial where I think, what was it, Brand? It starts you off like, was it 25, 50 or?
Yeah, it starts
then,
you off just like learning the basics, and then it does that where it like incrementally goes up 25, 50.
I mean,
and then 100.
F-Zero's hard with just
and
8
then
people.
99.
But I think it's all bot based, and then it opens
Oh,
up.
yeah.
Like, oh, then you can go online, and you got to get 3 golden tickets, Willy Wonka style, and then you can do this super race that only people who have the 3 golden tickets can get into.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever got past like 45th place. I don't know how these fuckers get in first place.
The closest
online.
the closest I've come is third.
Damn, Brant.
Third.
Yeah.
What happened?
It was very, very close.
Did you burn
It was
up, or were
very,
you
very
there at
close.
the end?
No. I mean,
You
I
have to
crossed the
complete
finish
to get
line
third. Yeah. you
at
have to
third.
complete.
Okay.
If you crash out, you're
You're done. You're limited.
done.
And you have like a crater, like I saw people's where they died. It's like a
Yeah.
little crater with their name on it.
A little
like
crater, a little oil
Dark
slick.
Souls. Yeah, like you died. So and so died here.
Is this a good F-Zero?
Hell yeah.
It looks really good too. That Mode 7-esque graphics.
Man.
Mode 7, but not Mode 7, and the music hits. I kind of like. Hopefully they don't decommission this game.
I need to play to support. Yeah, it needs
you
to have an
know it will
offline
be.
mode. Well, I've got a
some
Tetris
point.
99 cartridge. What can I do with that?
Play local multiplayer if they ever took it offline.
See, and that would be awesome to have a physical copy of F-Zero 99. It came with like a year of the Nintendo Switch Online too, I think.
It did.
Yeah, I was using the solo one at a certain point.
Yeah. But we already lost Mario 99. And
Never to be seen again.
Pac-Man 99? Wasn't there Pac-Man 99?
I think you can play it offline.
There's been several in the series, but I can't remember if they require online connectivity or not.
I think you can do local on Pac-Man 99. I think.
I mean, you can on the GameCube, but that's what Pac-Man 5 and the Wii U version of that Pac-Man Versus game. What was that, Luigi?
I mean,
Was that the Luigi game mini game?
I own a digital copy of that Pac-Man 99 that I purchased, so I might fire it up and see what I can do with it.
See what it's like offline.
I gotta see if it doesn't give me the bullshit like, oh, thanks for playing, and then
Yep.
that was it.
We appreciate the time you put in. Servers are off.
Everything's dead in this game. I was like, okay, cool.
Next up, we had Bandle Tale, a League of Legends story. We'll go to Laszlo Holmes to fill us in on the lore behind that League of Legends. League of Legos.
Followed by
Like Legos.
Song of Nunu, another League of Legends story. Wait, do we have to get both and trade the monsters back and forth?
It's the new
Yep.
Oracle Seasons and Ages.
Yes. Complete the entire story by playing both titles. WarioWare Move It comes out November 3rd, 2023. Wario and friends are back with WarioWare Move It. Use a pose to enter the minigames on November 3rd.
That's what a 1-2 Switch should have been.
A WarioWare title?
Whatever. I mean, this requires a lot of that same movement and stuff from like 1-2 Switch. So
yeah,
I totally would have played this.
But 1-2 Switch is their whole gimmick is like you have to be lined up against the other person, right? Like it's a 1v1 thing. Maybe that's what's wrong with 1-2 Switch is it's very Nintendo like in that it does wacky shit, right? It does something different with the hardware. The software is weird.
Well, the new one was like you could have up to 100-something players playing, so it was like a massive party game.
So maybe
bring your cell phones.
Yeah, maybe that's what they wanted to start with, but where I was going with 1-2 Switch is it's all this wacky design, but then it's so static in that you have to be just next to the person. That's so outside of their design element where everything else falls into that Nintendo category. Like even ARMS, I think, got outside of this. ARMS had you doing all kind of wacky stuff, but 1-2 Switch was so stale with just two people being next to each other. Count the ice cubes in the thing. That was just not. It should have been a pack-in or a demonstration type thing. I mean, we got a full-blown Astrobot with PS5. That would have been an okay pack. It's not Astrobot quality, but it would have at least not had the scrutiny of a full $50, $60 title, whatever it was. I bought that new one. It was $20 at Walmart, and I haven't played it, but that could be some hijinks. Everybody 1-2 Switch.
You say that, but 1-2 Switch it's not a Nintendo land
no.
either. Nintendo
it's not
land
even
was
that.
awesome.
You don't get a good grasp of the hardware, I don't think, and it forces you to play one way. It's not this do whatever you want to do that you would get from a Wii Sports or a Nintendo Land. I drew a blank there. We just talked about it. You're right. That's a good example. Nintendo Land was a good piece of software.
No, Richard. 1-2 Switch is never going to
Stop
happen.
trying to make 1-2 Switch happen. Like your reverse shotgun.
A reverse shotgun.
Cesar tries to call a reverse shotgun for the back passenger seat for some ungodly reason. He'd rather be in the back passenger seat. Reverse shotgun. I guess it has its benefits. I guess it's fine. I want to be in the back.
Reverse shotgun.
Next up, Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. That is the new Suikoden-like that I believe Cesar kickstarted. April 23rd, 2024. It was recently announced that it got a delay.
Kickstarter member for like 2,400 or something like that.
And you got on pretty early.
Mm-hmm.
Eastward is getting an expansion, Octopia. That's DLC for Eastward. It'll be available this holiday season. Wargroove 2, the Advance Wars-like, has been announced and is a console exclusive for Nintendo Switch, available October 5th. Is it a WayForward joint? That art style looks like WayForward.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, now that I've said it.
No, I don't think so.
I'm trying to skip to the end and see who shows up in the credits. It's very Advance Wars-esque.
Let's see. So next we have Dave the Diver coming to Switch.
I thought you were going to say Dave Matthews Band. I was like, no. No Dave Matthews Band.
Oh, it's Chucklefish. We're always talking about Chucklefish. Yeah, Chucklefish.
Coming October 26th. The very last wave of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course 6.
Time to cancel. Cancel subscription. No more Mario Kart content. That's what I'm here for.
And it will arrive. It will arrive this holiday season. Introducing, looks like they have Funky Kong, Diddy Kong,
finally,
Pauline, just to name a few. Then
I think those are the final two, right? Oh no,
Gino. Didn't you say Gino's coming?
4 of them. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. That's like when I fired up the booster course pass the other day, and I think there was 2 empty spots, but it's like what Brian said. There's 4 more coming.
So they haven't announced the last.
This should be it.
No, that's it. This is wave 6. This is the last wave.
Not a secret character coming later.
Nah, not
subtly secret character.
Among Us is getting a new map, October 2023.
Mahungus.
And
Where's this map taking place?
I do not remember.
Jigoku.
Where's that? Underwater?
Last but not least,
Jigoku's hell.
we have I guess it's not really a remake, but the
Don't call it a remake. It's been here for years.
It's just been $180.
highly anticipated re-release of Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door.
Very cool.
As Richard was alluding to, the very expensive GameCube classic.
I think I have
will be
2 copies of this for some reason.
Will be coming 2024.
You get a third one soon.
Bring back the GameCube games. Got Baten Kaitos, Metroid Prime, Mario Sunshine, Paper Mario: Thousand-Year Door.
Just missing Star Fox Adventures.
That'd be a deep cut. I would pay. I would pay. It's a nostalgia game for me. That is not a great video game, but that is a nostalgia buy for me. I would day one Star Fox Adventures. I would go to a midnight launch of Star Fox Adventures. Cesar, don't shake your head at me.
More power to you, sir.
Hey man, I'm supporting you from me sleeping in bed, not going to midnight. So
there were
Zero GX.
Oh, that'd be a good one. Time Splitters. Where are the Time Splitters games?
On Steam
and Xbox.
Dying out with the Embracer group.
Yeah, they're gonna spin them. They're gonna sell them off next.
Oh,
we unembraced the Time Splitters franchise. Brant, you're correct in your assessment. I think that was a stellar Nintendo Direct. Chibi Robo would be another good GameCube game. It's stuck on the cube.
Yeah.
I don't think it ever had another re-release.
Yeah. I would do the custom Robo
Battalion
ones.
Wars.
That's also, yeah.
Goes without saying, Wind Waker and Twilight Princess.
Oh, the
Wario World would be a good one. Wario World.
The treasure game.
Billy Hatcher.
Oh, Cesar. That's up there with Star Fox Adventures.
Hey, side by side.
Cesar, would you pay this much? You pay this much. Oh, that damn guy. This is the second time we brought him up in the past couple days. We were talking about Scarabs the other day. You have to pay that guy in Scarabs.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Next up was State of Play. I did not watch this live either.
Same.
This again from Mirror Station.
This again.
Doing
this damn Mirror Station. Mirror Station.
No, doing amazing work.
Mike Reyes and Gabriel Huerta. Thank you, Mike and Gabriel.
So they started the State of Play on kind of a odd note here. This is Bennett Foddy's new game, the creator of Getting Over It. This is a game called Baby Steps. To me,
it has his voice all over it. Oh, his voice is all over it again. I'm like, oh my god.
To me, it looked like a weird, almost like Quap. Like if anybody remembers Quap, where you would have to try and reposition the character's you like controlled.
Quap?
You don't remember Quap?
I don't know that one.
It was like a Flash game almost, but you controlled a sprinter, and you had to use those letters on the keyboard to try and move the person, and he moved really awkward.
Oh yeah,
because each key moved like the foot a certain way, and then you had to move the calf and then the thigh and of each individual leg.
No, stop bringing this back.
So
like a human version of Octodad.
This was before Octodad, and Baby Steps kind of goes back into that as well.
Baby Steps,
where you're
I just like the brand. Remember that one's like the grappling hook. Oh yeah, just grappling hook.
Just fucking grapple it. Just fucking grapple it.
Yeah, just fucking. The guy's like, just fucking grapple it. I'm like, what am I watching?
I didn't play Getting Up. Is he got a different? Is he got a specific like?
It's like if you ever do an
getting over it. That's what I meant.
Bennett Foddy is just him randomly just going on about bullshit. It's just random shit. It's just like literally like you're having LSD-induced conversation with somebody who's just talking to you about
Most random
the
shit.
While
most
tripping.
randomest thing. It's like some people will just turn it off when they stream it. So,
I know it's popular to stream.
but it's like you could tell.
Yeah.
You could tell by his voice because it's puzzle based. It's very puzzle-esque, and you can speed run it, and it's a deep game. It's simple, but it's pretty deep. But his voice was in there. He was the guy with the like, oh, this is your grappling hook. I was like, oh god, here he is.
Is that a PS5 exclusive?
I know.
I know it's coming to PC.
I was going to say I know he's made this deal, I guess, to bring it to PS5, but I don't believe it's an exclusive.
You don't start off a state of play and not have some sort of agreement in place, or.
I mean, I forgot who their third party was. The third party relations that lady was on there talking about, like they were looking for games like this that are unique and it's different from the.
It's very unique.
Everyday PlayStation.
I mean,
catalog,
that's old school
why
PlayStation.
they're showcasing those ones,
right? That's when we got Katamari games and just wacky shit out of left field.
Just your grunting. And,
I'm looking at the trailer. I'm trying to see who. It looks so fucking crazy.
It's you can tell it's a Bennett Foddy game. Let's put it that way.
Guys on a skateboard.
Yep. Next up, Roblox is hitting PlayStation 5 October 10th.
That is huge.
Finally, after millions and millions and millions.
This is probably the biggest news of the show.
Then we had a look at Ghostbusters: Rise of the Ghost Lord coming October 26th to your PlayStation VR 2.
Wish none of us still own.
Cesar, I can't believe you've held out this long.
There's nothing to play, nothing's backwards compatible. Fuck that shit.
Continuing with PSVR stuff, another look at Resident Evil 4 Remake VR mode.
I would play
coming,
this. It
looks good.
Yeah, coming this winter. And along with that, we got more Resident Evil 4 Remake news with the Separate Ways DLC coming September 21st.
Out now.
So, yes, you can go and buy this now. This is DLC that actually adds Ada and Wesker back into Mercenaries, as well as basically you get to play DLC exclusive to Ada Wong, where you basically go through the story from her point of view, what she's kind of doing in the background as Leon's doing his thing. So,
Richard, this was that bullshit thing they put in the PS2.
I was about to say that was
game, right?
that was like a PS2 exclusive side content, and then
they're like, oh, sorry that we released this game that we're supposed to not come out on anything like GameCube.
I think that's the reason all those future builds were based off of that, because it was like the director's cut. Even though graphically it was a inferior version, it was more feature complete.
Like our Tomb Raider remaster. All goes back to Tomb Raider.
Oh god, back to the PC version. But if you're not playing those games side by side, there's no bad version of Resident Evil 4. And if you're not playing those games side by side, I mean, there's plenty of people that would take the extra content over the GameCube hardware boost of that PS2 one. You know, it's all.
I mean, I guess it's mute point now with this remake.
And you could play it on I was playing on the Quest a couple months ago. That's a great version.
Yeah.
Coming.
All right, Brent. Speak sweet nothings of Richard's favorite.
This looks good. This looks so
franchise.
fucking good to me.
Yeah,
God.
we got I felt like we got. Was it that it leaked, or we'd already seen a little bit of this? I think we'd already just seen some of the concept art.
It was on the Ubisoft show. Remember, it was just that whole bullshit, like, oh, it's a digital only, because that's all they announced. Remember?
Yep. We've seen stuff that looks like concept art from the movies. Is basically what they've shown. Now we got actual legit looking gameplay, which looks like concept video from the movies. It looked so good.
This is Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, and it does it actually. It looks pretty damn cool.
It looks fantastic, and I love that universe.
I mean,
so it's.
When was the last time we had like a almost movie tie-in that's been super high quality?
Oh,
it's been a while,
right?
Yeah.
It's been a while, right? I mean, because remember we had a whole bunch of shitty ones on 360, like the Superman one. King Kong was probably that wasn't too bad, yeah.
But
I just remember the really bad Superman and Jumper. Oh, Jumper was so bad.
What was the last good movie tie-in like that? Because those days are gone.
I know
those days are past.
Yeah,
and this is.
I know the Iron Man and the Hulk had movie tie-ins. They did the Wolverine games had a tie-in.
Does this count technically? Because this isn't like you've seen Avatar in the theaters. Now get Avatar 2, Way of Water, the game. This is part of the universe.
It's in the same universe. It's not technically.
This is the Arkham Asylum.
Part of that. Yeah.
Of the Avatar games. It looks great. Watch this trailer. It legit looks like the movies. They spared no expense.
Money's not an option.
We got a new trailer for Ghost Runner 2, and there's a demo. You can download the demo now.
I've got the first one on something, and nothing has ever. It's always been one of those games on the peripheral, like, oh, that exists.
We had a look at Helldivers 2 coming February 8th, 2024, which was kind of a weird point of the presentation. I don't know if y'all went back and watched the part of this presentation.
It was so, it's that whole bullshit, like the trying thing, where it's like, oh, they're playing together.
Yeah.
It's so dry.
It's so stale.
I did see this part.
Thing over here.
Hey, I'm gonna go over here. Hey, I need a reload. Come help me reload.
Jeez, guys.
Oh, call it in over here. Oh, you killed me on accident.
Oh, man.
I'll follow you guys.
Got
Jeez,
me.
we got another wave I think is coming.
This whole, like, you should play games like this, because I'm watching this whole thing. It's like, I would never play the game like
Nobody.
this. Me, like, motherfucker, that's bullshit. That's why I'm being there like,
Brant, where the fuck were you?
I know.
Yeah, fuck Brant. Oh, I'm over here mining for something. Fucking Brant. Jeez, you do that shit all the
I'm
fucking
over
time.
there just teabagging
Now we're all
a
dead.
pile of enemies.
That's actually
not
what
teabagging
happens. That's what actually happens.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. It looks like Lost Planet.
Yes.
I mean,
Damn, I would play a Lost Planet
saw
collection.
that they put a physical version out there for pre-order now, even though it has that little on there. You must require internet to play this game. So
still a good option.
We got another look.
What is this game?
At Marvel Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man.
They just
That's
Less than
next
30
month.
days.
I'd say
Let's go.
they just kind of showed off how the game is going to be bigger because of the PS5 hardware, and showed off that New York is going to be bigger.
It's almost double the size of the first game. Almost.
And how you can basically almost instantly and pretty seamlessly switch between both Spider-Man back and forth.
Outside of the people arguing on Twitter, like, oh, you can always do this in Grand Theft Auto 5. I don't know why this is a next-gen feature. And I'm like...
10 years ago. We did this 10 years ago in GTA
internet.
5. I can't believe that game's 10 years old.
Yeah. Then we had some Tales of Arise DLC Beyond the Dawn coming November 9th.
This is a surprise. Cesar, has there ever been like big Tales DLC like this down the road? It seems like a full-blown expansion.
No. I think the last one was Tales of Grace F, but I think it's because that Wii version was so bad, and then when they ported it over to the PS3, they had an after story. But that was all caked on the disc. And I don't even think the Switch got that after story version. It was like an apology, like how bad.
So that was more of like a director's cut.
Wii, excuse me, Wii. Yeah, but I mean, this is to your credit. No, this is the first time I think they've ever done a Tales game with an actual add-on. Because I think they said it's about 20 hours long, and it doesn't take place at the end of the game. It's like it takes place in the middle of the game or something like that.
That's an awesome concept.
So it's like before the end and after, like some part in the middle. So I'm interested to see what they do with Tales, because I was hoping to see if they do a remaster for anything else. But I think the guy who did the Scarlet Nexus he was the original Tales director, and he went over there and did that game. Now he's back in the Tales studio, so I think he's working on the next Tales game. Yeah. So.
Do you think they'll stick with this formula from Tales of Arise? He was highly regarded.
Well, I think the guy who did the change up the formula, because I think who took lead of this was the guy who's handling Dragon Dogma. So that's why he kind of changed it up.
I can see that DNA in there.
I think he probably will, because depending how well they're trying to modernize it, and there's I think when the director is talking about, like, they want to do more remasters, but but I read that whole article, like, I think on Silicon Era, where they were talking with him about it, when they were like, he wants to bring more of the old stuff that we never got, but they're in the middle. Like, all right, do we remake it or do we just bring it over? If we bring it over, do we add any? Bring it up to the new standards
or 2D HD
remaster.
or
So there's
something.
like still in the middle. Yeah, so they're still trying to figure out what to do with the franchise, but I think going forward, I think this Tales of Arise is where they're going to keep it, and we might see more of this like DLC drops, which haven't been done with the Tales game before. To like Namco Bandai is really good about doing that, where they drop a lot of DLC to keep
The engagement.
the game going before they make a sequel. Yeah. Unless you're Dragon's Dogma, then you just wait like 10 years for the sequel to come out.
So. You're right though about the Tales franchise. It goes all the way back to Super Famicom, right? You could do collections. You could do 2D HD. You could do the pixel remasters if you wanted to. It's a wide catalog and a long running series that you could honestly appease both audiences. I think Final Fantasy is kind of balancing that same. They're still walking that same line. There's pixel remasters. It's easily accessible to play 7, 8, and 9 on everything. And you still have new titles like 16 and 7 Remake and Rebirth that are going in another direction. Like you have a mix of all those. And I think the most important thing is that they're available. You can play them. It's hard to play certain Tales games. They'd be a good Carbon Engine candidate, right? With those PS1 ones that are so expensive.
That, or like you said, even the pixel remasters, or I'm hoping that Namco's been really weird about their catalog. I'm surprised they even put out those Ridge Racer games on the PlayStation service, even though you can't buy them a la carte, because they're weird about their catalog, man. Because they were always talking about putting like their PS2 games on PlayStation when the PS4 stuff got announced, but they never did anything with it. They sat there and they did all like, hey, what games you want, and they just never. They're just because they're always in between trying to like bring their shit out to modern audiences. I'm surprised by Tenkaitos got released so. Because they're weird when it comes to their old catalog.
That was mind blowing when that one was announced, and now it's out.
Yeah, my copy comes in like I think tomorrow. So
this is what we talk about on the show so often. Is like Cesar had just brought up Tales of the Abyss a couple days ago. When I was in retail, he was a customer at the store. He's like, we all got to pre-order Tales of the Abyss. We'll never get another Tales game. This was back in the PlayStation 2 days, and we got it. We got Tales of Legendia. I think there were more after that. And then they re-released it on 3DS. It's like, this is great. This is good for a whole new audience. But it's still stuck on both of those platforms, which are now both retro platforms. And that's... it's a great thing about our industry sometimes, because like all of a sudden, hardware has caught up to a point where we have this awesome PS2 game that's now portable and in 3D. But now, 10 years after that, it's stuck on either of those two platforms, which you will either need dedicated handheld to enjoy, or like a CRT for the PS2 game, and it's not available anywhere else, and you won't find that with Peter Jackson's King Kong. It's available on multiple formats, or Smashing Pumpkins' Siamese Dream, available just about anywhere. You can find a CD, eBay, Amazon. You can stream it. Like that's where we fail as a medium, is access and preservation for these type of things. And it's aggravating. Like how long are we going to chase that? How long are we going to chase the newest thing to play Tales of the Abyss?
And we saw the game industry is going to change a little bit, because we saw when that deal with Activision and Microsoft went through in the UK, when that their amended litigation on there, where they said that I think they worked out a deal with Ubisoft that they guaranteed that they would use emulation to get some of those titles working. So like that opens the door, because before it was always hands off, and I think Phil Spencer's always been big on emulation's fine, to get that product out there. But a lot of stuff emulation's always like been like the naughty word when the gaming, and now it seems to be more and more open. So
it always was to me. It always was to me. I was like, why would I turn my nose up at it? Why would I do that? But it's gotten so much better. And then when this stuff's not available, you have to turn to it.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the day where they get some good emulation. I'll just drop an ISO in there and easy peasy and release it to the masses.
I think that's been the appeal. Go ahead, sorry.
You do get the whole Jim Ryan bullshit where some people are not going to get this older games look to a certain audience, but so it's like the whole appeasement. Like, all right, do we remake this game or remaster it? It's like it's weird, man. I wish we would look at these numbers and they actually release like how many copies of this shit they sold and how they decide to go.
And we're the only ones carrying the flag for it.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, I mean, nobody buys this shit and blah blah blah, and but they buy more, Tales of Vesperia, remaster, but I don't know how they decide some of those things. Or we'll put out a shitty version of Tales of Symphonia, which is a blowhole remaster, and what went through their heads on that, who knows.
The Carbon engine you mentioned, and Digital Eclipse has an engine too, and I can't remember the name of that thing, but I think that's what they're going to do a bunch of their Goldmaster stuff in, like the Karateka that came out. And it's easy for them to put across everything, right? And easy for them to scale up. So PS6, Switch 2, whatever the newest. And I feel like Steam's done a great job of this because you buy into that platform of that PC version, and to a certain extent it's going to be supported for a long time. Or there's a bigger community of people who are going to try to make sure that same shit works in the future. Now some of that stuff gets left behind and off to the side, but I feel like they capture more of it than not.
I mean, this gaming stuff's gonna get weird because you see with that whole Xbox digital console. Because I've talked to some people, and then I think a lot of these people are not gonna buy an all digital Xbox. They were like, if I'm gonna go this route and it's only digital games, it's like they said I'm just gonna PC it from now on. I mean, they've been doing it for over 20 years, and like Steam and like.
Isn't it such a weird mindset coming from a company that made sure like I can grab Panzer Dragoon Orta from 2002 and pop it into their newest system and it plays off the disc? Like, well, it doesn't play off the disc. I know.
For so many years.
Yeah, like it seems so like a reverse course. There was another argument I read that there was even more research into that sort of disc-based stuff because of their lack of this was a crazy offshoot I was reading about a potential ARM architecture for Xbox hardware. Instead of chasing the x86 stuff, I mean, that was the ultimate backwards compatible thing for a long time. It is an ARM system on a chip, and maybe they were trying to pivot a bunch of their emulation and preservation stuff to that ARM architecture, which would lend towards a handheld and any sort of scalable digital Xbox
I think it's like you said, it's playable on multiple platforms. It's like it's an OS that runs on multiple devices. So
I mean that would be the dream, right? Like we've talked about on the show, the CD-ROM format could have been the be-all end-all for encyclopedias and games and music, and then it was DVDs for storage medium purposes and things like that. But we're getting to where we run out of those storage needs when you have like dual-layer 4K Blu-rays and SD cards that are terabyte. You don't run into those limitations anymore.
Or you have Blu-rays on the Wii U fucking disc rotting.
That's worrisome. Brant, do you have any Wii U discs? I read a thing about PS3 games today.
Yeah.
I read a thing about certain PS3 games that have disc rot. They're just bad batches.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no. No, but there's certain Wii U games, Brant. It's not an official Blu-ray. It's Blu-ray-esque, but it's a Panasonic derivative of it. And it doesn't have the right type of coating that the official Blu-ray committee or Brent's just shaking his head.
Nintendo didn't want to buy from Sony. Didn't want to buy from Sony.
So they had a co-developed Blu-ray-esque format, and
somehow it doesn't surprise me. They just cut corners and did halfway bullshit with the Wii U the entire time. I mean, I already had the one Wii U die. I mean, I have to try that.
The Volt.
Was it Raspberry Pi trick and see if I can resurrect that one.
Voltar came out with that NAND thing, the NAND chip. I mean, if y'all want to pitch in and just have one and you can start with it, I'm fine with that. So we have access to that whenever we need it. Bring yours back as the guinea pig. I thought you rescued yours for some reason.
No, I just bought a donor for $75 that didn't have a gamepad because the gamepad was fine.
Yeah, I've got 3 Wii U's and 1 good gamepad. Those are going to be the hot commodity as the gamepads. Yeah. Oh God, we started with Tales. We did that tangent off of a Tales DLC announcement.
Yeah.
Good talk, lads.
Let me finish up these because there's
Brant's fault.
There's like 3 more announcements here real quick. A game that I feel like they've spent the latter part of this year talking about, Honkai Star Rail, coming October 11th.
Is this free? Free to start?
I was about to say, I
Free-to-play,
think it's a free-to-play.
You gotta. It's gotcha as fuck though, because you gotta get
like
certain
Genshin.
characters, and some people fall in love with characters, and you gotta roll the fucking.
It
dice
looks
to get the
good
character,
though.
You don't get the character.
It looks
all the
super
time.
polished.
Your highly anticipated game is getting an open beta in 4 days from September 29th to
Yeah.
October
Are we
1st.
gonna be able to
Play.
stream this?
It's a weekend
I'll stream
game.
the
Foam
fuck out of
Stars
this.
open beta, probably. We
So-
could probably
The
stream
weekend
it.
game, Richard. Weekend game.
Yeah,
Let's fucking
weekend
go.
game is good. I'm down with a weekend game.
Let's do it. And then they closed the show with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, coming February 29th, 2024, which will be a PS3 exclusive for, I think, almost 3 months. Not quite 3
Only
months.
to PS3. We've talked so much PS3 brands like to come to PS3.
Oh, yeah, you did say PS5.
PS3 exclusive.
Skipping 4, going to 5.
This looks amazing.
I know you guys enjoyed the first one a lot, so
I actually watched the trailer on this one.
It looks
does
solid.
look pretty good.
Looks like there's parts
It-
where you get to play with Sephiroth as your companion. There was
Always
like
wanted to play
Cloud
with
on a
Sephiroth.
Segway. There was all sorts of crazy stuff, and of course people memeing things. So like they had Cloud riding on the regular Segway from the trailer, and then they had Sephiroth on like a really tall Segway with his legs dangling, and all sorts of
Like
crazy
he's on the
stuff.
sword.
What was the other game? What was the other game to show Brent that also had a Segway in there? And they're like, what the fuck's happening next year?
I saw that
There's
too.
two games with Segways
The
in
year
there.
of Segways.
Yeah, they're like, what's happening here? I forgot what game it was.
I could see the picture.
and then-
I could see the image.
But they, of course, they showed a good bit of this in this trailer. They did announce I guess it's a collector's edition that comes with a giant like Sephiroth statue and things like that. And this is, of course, going to be on 2 of those ultra Blu-ray discs. So this is going to be a massive game.
They said 40 hours for the story, 100 hours to do everything. Was their estimate?
Yeah, and this
because they said I think this covers up to the second.
I was about to
disc,
say-
right?
Up to the
Film.
Forgotten
Yeah.
City.
this is not the complete.
Which is about it was pretty close to the end of the
Yeah.
second disc.
It
right?
was
This is
famously the end of
Cool. It
disc
was
1, I think.
2. No, disc 1 was Midgard.
That's right.
remember?
That's
As
right.
soon as I got a Midgard, I
Yes,
had
it
to
was
insert disc
famously
2.
the end of disc 2
Yeah.
because there's a momentous occasion that occurs there at the City of the
I
Ancients.
don't know, man. There's some of the timelines off. In
yeah.
That's what
the
y'all said.
timeline's all wacky. It's wacky. They did, you saw some new characters like Kate Sith show up, and they did show like chocobo riding and being able to like customize your chocobo. There's a lot of crazy stuff. If you're,
Brent's boy Vincent's in there.
oh yeah, they
I love getting
teased
that.
him. They teased him. We got to see the backside of his head.
And we saw what Sid was in there too, right? They showed Sid
Yep,
a little bit.
Sid was in
I don't
there.
know if he's. Yeah.
Hopefully his character
Definitely
is
if
not
you're-
the abuser that he was in the PS1 title. It was a little, that was not a healthy relationship.
Rough around their edges.
Yeah, it'll probably be different, a little bit different.
One
in
would
this
hope.
But yeah, if you're interested, it's definitely a cool trailer.
That was a good state of play. That was a lot of good content.
Yeah, I think they said this was exclusive for 3 months, so
Yeah.
we know we're probably getting at least for PC, right about
Oh,
summertime
yeah.
at least. Yeah.
Oh, and that was the other thing is I think it was after the show they announced that there's going to be a double pack for this
The first two.
of the
yeah,
first
or
two.
And the DLC. Yeah.
So like a complete package. So I would assume that once it hits PC, there'll be a bundle and stuff for that as well.
Brent, do you have a physical copy of the PS5 version of Intergrade?
Checking. I think no. I have the PS4 version, and I did the free.
It's kind of
No!
expensive.
I did the
I looked it up.
France.
free upgrade.
I looked it up on that Game Eye thing because I was like scrolling through what I needed to add, and for some reason it was like $120. It was
What?
expensive,
Yeah.
but I feel like I've seen it at retailers. But I guess it had a low print run or something. I was
Damn.
surprised. I didn't open mine when I was streamed that hour of it. I was playing on the PlayStation Plus version.
I bet say they
So,
gave
yeah,
it
The one they
away.
ended up upgrading.
I got the physical version too, but I haven't opened it either. So
I may get the deluxe on this one. I did the deluxe on the PS4 version. I got that little soundtrack CD. I like having a soundtrack CD. I'm a sucker. I'll see these PS4 games that are cheap on Amazon that'll have like a 2 soundtrack CD, and I'm kind of like, the music might be good in this. It's worth it for me. All right, next up, Nintendo Switch Online Plus subscribers will be getting Game Boy Advance game Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. This comes from Chris Scullion at VideoGamesChronicle.com. The 2004 Game Boy Advance game will be added to the Switch's GBA library on September 29th, so the end of this week. The game's plot revolves around a mirror world where Kirby, who's been split into 4, it's a quartered Kirby. Holy shit. Has to find Dark Meta Knight and defeat him to stop the mirror world being corrupted. Whereas many Kirby games before it were linear in nature, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror is more of a Metroidvania, with the player able to travel around the map at will and gain new powers to access locked-off areas. The Switch Online version will also support 4-player co-op, either locally with a single Switch or online. That's a neat addition. They're basically emulating the LAN Switch or whatever they called that thing. Russell and I used the shit out of that thing for like Link to the Past and Mario Brothers. We love playing the old school Mario Brothers on those because it didn't matter which one of those series you had, it would play that original Mario Brothers. With the link cable. Why couldn't I come up with link cable? Transfer cable. They always had a new name for it.
I heard you said LAN Switch.
You were down for the LAN Switch.
LAN Switch.
PlayStation Plus game catalog for September gets you Nier Replicant, 13 Sentinels, Civ 6, Star Ocean: The Divine Force. I think Cesar mentioned recently the PlayStation Plus program is going to make it a Star Ocean box dedicated.
Yeah.
Every Star Ocean game is playable except the new one.
That'll be awesome. And the new one is a remake of Second Story, correct? That'll be the... That 2D HD looks fantastic. Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2. Odin Sphere Leaftrasser. It's a German word. Unpacking. That is a good game. My kids thoroughly enjoyed Unpacking. Planet Coaster Console Edition. The War of Mine Final Cut. Cloudpunk. Contra Rogue Core. Which one was that? That's not the new one they announced, is it? What is Contra Rogue Core? For PS4.
That was the weird one when Konami was making games again. I think it came on right around that Bomberman. Like right at the very beginning of the Switch era.
I do not remember this one.
I think it's not the Way Forward one or the Arc Systems, which I think handled the last two, or this new one, and then Arc Systems did the one before that. So this one is I think this was done internally in Konami. It wasn't well received. It had like a DLC, like a season pass in there where you get extra stuff.
It's a stinker.
I don't think I've ever played it, so I don't know. I never heard good things about it.
It made me balk at it. I was like, what the hell is this? Tales Noir, Call of the Sea, West of Dead, Star Ocean: Integrity and Faithlessness. Paw Patrol the Movie, Adventure City Calls. PlayStation Premium, your classics you're going to get are Star Ocean. I mean, it's a bunch of Star Ocean stuff. That still doesn't...
I'm cool with it, but it's just like
doesn't
all
please
PS4
you.
stuff.
Star Ocean First Departure R. This is a PS4 HD remaster of the PSP remake of the 16-bit classic. Star Ocean Till the End of Time, the PS2 title.
Ooh, the ending in that one was wild.
I played the beginning of this, and it did not grab me.
Yeah. It's you would have been pissed at the very end because a lot of people were that ending was booty hole. It was so phoned in. I was like, man, are you serious? People spend like 80 hours. I mean, you spend 80 hours in that game. And it's like this ending.
In a long ass RPG, and then you get a garbage ending.
Yeah. Ooh, so dumb.
Star Ocean: The Last Hope, 4K and full HD remaster. It's kind of weird. And Dragon's Crown Pro, the PS4 remaster of the PS3 and Vita title from Vanillaware.
Yeah, this is a Vanillaware release month too, because that Odin Sphere is also one of them, and that 13 Sentinels. So
good titles, and they just announced that new game, the new strategy game. Rounding out the news and maybe our show at this point, your Xbox Game Pass games include Party Animals.
Liza P
first. I guess I was looking at the descriptor at the top. Liza P, of course. I thought that was already out.
People have been loving the hell out of it. They said it's very much like Bloodborne. Very much.
But with a Pinocchio twist.
It's like, yeah, they said if you can't play Bloodborne anywhere else but PlayStation, this is finally playable on like almost everything. So
makes sense. And you can play it day one on Game Pass. Thought it was already out. This is weird. Party Animals, September 20th. This looks like Fall Guys. I'm not exactly sure what it is. Payday 3, which I think would be up our alley if we ever wanted to try that.
we should wait because I haven't seen people that the matchup is.
Oh,
it's really bad.
It's had a rough launch.
It didn't get a good server test or
Yeah,
something.
it's bad. It did a beta on Xbox for whatever reason. It rolled out. It's bad. It's really bad.
Cocoon, the follow-up to the 80s classic.
Not this time, Richard. You had me tricked the last time, but not this time.
Gotham.
I was like, ooh, Cocoon, based off the movie. Let's go.
Gotham Knights. Batman is Dead.
Coming October 3rd.
October 3rd, yeah. The Lamplighters League. It's interesting looking. I'm just looking at screenshots. DLC game updates. EA Sports FC 2024 early access trial. You get 10 hours, I think. Which I want to see what that's like. That's actually a new engine. It's not the FIFA of old.
I've been hearing bad.
You have been? That's not good.
Yeah, from the reviews, but I haven't played it. But I don't play FIFA, I don't play Football Club, so I don't.
You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know a good one
person
from
to
a bad
ask.
one. Yeah.
But from what I've read online, because I was interested in starting this one, just because I wanted to play the Switch one since this is not a fucking bullshit legacy one. And I did enjoy playing MLS on PSP way back in the day, and I was like, oh, I might jump on this one. But
my most played FIFA is probably a combination of 09 and 2010 World Cup on iPod. I had an iPod Touch, and I played the shit out of that game. I was so freaking good. I think Spain won that World Cup, and that was my team. I've not touched it in, 13 years? Despite buying a few FIFAs here and there. New League of Legends champion, Briar the Restrained Hunger. I don't feel like I read that right, but I'm not going to go back and check over that. Wait, Cesar, this is usually your bit. Why am I reading this part? You love the Game Pass stuff.
Just finish it off.
You ran with this.
I just realized.
Too late now. You ran with it.
EA Sports UFC 4 Champion Fighter Customization Bundle, Apex Legends Juiced Up Weapon Charm. Sure.
I don't know why Brandt's not giving you a hard time. Usually Brandt's like just leaving Game Pass. As I would just go
leaving Game Pass.
Leaving Game Pass.
So finishes up. Leaving Game Pass.
I was
the important stuff.
No, it's too late. This is your bit.
I was looking up something else real quick.
Leaving Game Pass. Beacon Pines. Despot's Game. Despo. Last Call BBS. Moonscars. Outriders. Proteus and Weird West. Play them before they are gone on September 30th. I don't know that there's anything in there that you will miss.
Trying to get weird.
Weird West. Let's get weird in the Weird West.
I think the only one was Outriders was a big deal because that was that Square Enix game that came out.
There's a physical copy of that too, right?
Yeah, it's like super cheap now, but I think that was a big deal because I think it came out like a year ago, and I think it was day one Game Pass, so it's been on there for a year. It's been a minute.
You had your chance.
Nobody's ever talked about it. I just never, ever interacted with anybody in my life that's like, oh, Outriders is a pretty good game.
It didn't come in our circle either, right?
No. I literally forgot about the game until you mentioned it now, and an occasional tweet that the game is like $20 somewhere. So, and then I was like, oh, yeah, that's the thing. I never go look at the website and it's like, maybe I should buy this. That never jumped in my head.
It's always a GameFly sale. I'm like, what is this?
If it's $10, I mean, I'm in the boat. Like if it's $10, I will fucking look at you. And I was like, all right, I might buy this game for $10. But if it's anything above $10 now, unless I really, really want it, I'm not buying random shit.
I confuse it with something else. It's almost like there was something else that came out at the same time, and it's a very similar name. Maybe not. I was trying to think of another flub. Games played. Let's go.
One more.
Oh shoot,
thing.
Brant! I know you were looking up something. Sorry.
I only just remembered because this was breaking news this morning. Hideki Kamiya is leaving Platinum Games. Announced. At least I saw it early this morning. Quote Hideki. I I will be leaving Platinum Games on October 12th, 2023. This came after a lot of consideration based on my own beliefs and was by no means an easy decision to make. However, I feel this outcome is for the best. I will continue to create in my own Hideki Kamiya way. I hope you will keep your eyes peeled. So,
what does this mean?
It's
he's gonna get his own studio NetEase. We already know what's happening.
I also love that the tweet had to get out to more people because he's blocked so many people that not many people had access to the news, the announcement.
Yeah.
I think Wario64 had to put out there for the people who are blocked, and just he did a screenshot of it.
All right, that wraps up news. Games played. Gonna be brief. Was on a trip, so not a whole lot was played. Somehow, some Warzone was fit into the schedule, and myself, Cesar, friend of the show Russell, friend of the show Mills. After 2 days of
it was one really angry night, and then
a furious night in which we never came in higher than 5th, 6th. It was bad. And we were in a different location, so we assumed that we were on different servers. We were also
it was that server for that location, and the ping was like
200
so
ping.
It
was
ping.
4 Xboxes on a DSL connection. It was playable. It wasn't nightmare.
Yeah. Ping was 200.
Yeah, we were losing battles that normally are like, okay.
When I play in the Japanese server, my ping's usually about 200, and I have to
Damn.
account for lag. So it was bad.
But we did, as we're at our wits' end at the end of the second day, we did get a dub. So that was, we stopped on that. That was it. It was like, we're out. We're done with this.
Nope. Yeah, we're done. Retire. I packed up the Xbox and turned it off. Never again.
You played some F-Zero 99, but y'all covered that a little bit. I played a little bit more Sea of Stars. I've had to grind in certain areas. There's definitely some mechanics. They drive home, and they drive them home by severely punishing you if you do not follow exactly what they're trying to get you to teach you in that certain area. So there's been a learning curve, and I did some grinding very early in this RPG, but I think I've overcome some of that and kind of figured out how they want me to play with that mechanic at the current time. But that game continues to be really good. I know it's on Game Pass and PlayStation Plus Extra and all that sort of stuff, so definitely give that a go. And it runs beautifully on Steam Deck. It's fantastic portably. If y'all give Sea of Stars a go. Was that it? Is that all we messed with? I think for me. That's it for me.
I didn't have anything I really played outside that.
Warzone. Your screen was your little portable screen was amazing. That was a great
That Magic Raven, it wasn't that bad. Yeah, after I turned off that AMD FreeSync, that was unplayable after that because it just kept refreshing the screen rate.
Did that come by default on the screen, or did you have to change a system setting on the Xbox?
It's probably my douchebag self in there because I was like, I turned it on. I was like, oh, this is a good feature, and I turned it on and I put the Switch on there when I tested it out, and it never did that with the Switch. But I guess the Switch doesn't have that fucking bullshit.
It's not trying to send
swap
that.
out HDR. 1440p is only one, pseudo 1080p. It's like the Switch is the fucking new PS3 and 360 where everything's upscaled to 1080p. But
it's kind of refreshing that you're
not
not chasing stuff on the Switch. I mean, you got to admire its simplicity.
Or until you play Pokemon Scarlet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready for new hardware too, but there's a certain comfort in just knowing it's gonna play for better or
Richard,
worse.
do you not? No, yeah, all right. You want to make the argument about Dishonored? Dishonored just plays on PS3.
It does. I'll fire it up right now.
And just bypass the whole PS4 version.
That late PS3 era, I was never I don't feel like I was ever frame rate sensitive or this game doesn't run well, that sort of thing. I was just like, what is this? This is not. I cannot play this video game.
Dishonored was bad, man. Dishonored was really bad on the PS3. I stopped playing it, and I got further on PS4. I love Dishonored, and I was like, it's bad. But I mean, I did fire up that Pokemon Scarlet or Violet DLC.
How is it?
And I mean, you literally, it puts you on like a school trip where you go to another school, and it's clearly based off like the Far East. I mean, that's as far as I got because I got on there and like all the bullshit bugs and all that stuff's still there. It still looks like Blue Hole. I was like, man, you had a whole year to like do something with it. I mean, but at this point, I think Game Freak's like, whatever, dude. They're just phoning it in at this point.
You said the rumor's a patch for new hardware, right? Potentially, or like a director's
supposedly,
cut, common game of the year.
The plan is they're supposed to do like a new box retail version or an update for the existing ones, but we don't even know if all these games are backwards compatible or not. So we don't know how the hardware runs and how that would work, or I mean, that's just rumors, and I wouldn't believe it until you see it. But I mean, it still looks booty hole, and it plays subpar. It's still the same, and I as far as I got, it's like, oh, go meet this teacher in the middle of town, and I was like, I'll fuck with it later. I still see like people in the background moving like 4 frames per second, like they're doing a robot across the field, and I'm like, you know what, that's cool. But it's like that's what they do. It's weird, man. Like if you play that game, it's certain characters that like move at a full 30 frames per second, and there's certain ones that move like 10 frames per second. It's like the frame pacing's really bad. Background characters.
Zelda did some weird stuff like that I would see in the distance, like the birds or whatever that would fly around the towers. They're not hardly moving or being rendered. It's just like a real slow thing around that tower, and then you get close and you see the full like animation of the wings and stuff. I know what you're talking about.
I would respect them. They just put the birds on a stick and just had the stick floating up there. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. I support this. This is
like
funny.
the Mortal Kombat for Switch.
I'm excited for new hardware for Switch. I just hope that stuff is backwards compatible. We'll see. That would be cool. Even though the cool thing is to fucking milk everybody to rebuy remastered versions of everything.
Same shit.
Let's do it every generation. Let's go, people. I mean, if we keep buying it, they're gonna keep doing it. So. But yeah, outside of that, I haven't really played much. Yeah, that's it for me. I'll kick it over to Brant. I don't want to take up any more time of me just sitting there thinking like,
I finished the main story of Batman Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
That's one of those where
Brant, it's time to do Gotham Knights. Let's go.
I'm waiting till October 3rd, sir.
You gonna Game Pass it?
Once it's on Game Pass, because I'm sending you all the the pictures now, but you'll see in just a second because I'll bring it up.
Didn't they give it to us on Humble Bundle or something?
No. Cesar.
You bought it on PS5.
Yeah, I was gonna say Cesar got it for like $0 because he had some Best Buy deal and coupon.
That's right.
Is it cross-platform? We might be able to play against you.
So.
Why would we play against them?
I mean, we need it for 4-player action. There's 3 of us.
Yeah, that's true. So the
shit! Oh, Brant, he jumped.
No, I gotta get my phone. This is not worth it. All right.
So Arkham Knight is one of those games where you can finish the main conflict. Take down the Arkham Knight and take down Scarecrow, which is the main villain. But to actually finish the game, you have to 100% everything to actually see the actual ending. Like finish everything, and you don't run credits on it. Like literally, you finish the main story part, and then there's a lot of stuff that comes with finishing that main story part, and Alfred's like, "Sir, what are you going to do about that?" He's like, "No, I still have to be out here. I have this and this and this I got to do."
But
and then it pops up.
A lot of that stuff is that bullshit car stuff.
Yeah,
I had to sit there and complete. And then the car stuff was cool, but I don't want to do all that all day long.
But you finished the game because it pops up like New Game Plus available. This is available. Like stuff pops up after you finish it. But to actually see the ending of the game, you have to 100% the game.
I'm about to say, find that on YouTube. Too short.
Even the first time I played this game, I got close, but there was a lot of those Riddler things and a bunch of other shit. I'm like, nah, I'll just YouTube this. After that, I didn't really have a chance to play much else. My son had a birthday this past week.
Congrats.
And early before that, we wound up giving him his present, which was a Steam Deck.
We knew about this. He did not. We did.
So good thing he doesn't watch the stream.
I know. He loaded up the handful of Steam games he has.
Awesome.
I've bought him a couple games that were on sale, and I've told him, I was like, I was gonna get you a Steam gift card as well, but I couldn't find one anywhere. So, if you see something you want, let me know. He hasn't yet.
Okay.
But I also asked, I was like, do you want the emulators and stuff on there? Yeah, sure. So I did that whole process. Yeah. So now he was playing Paper Mario 64
awesome.
and Thousand Year Door, and just he was like kind of going through stuff and looking at everything. And I think he's been playing. I think I infected him because he's been playing Kingdom Hearts.
About time for those to come natively to Steam also.
Yeah. I think you can backdoor it and download the Epic Game Store because that's the only way that they're on PC. Yeah. And I've seen like Kingdom Hearts 3 and those the HD mixes or whatever, 1.5 and all that stuff running on the deck, I guess, via Epic Game Store. I did get a wild hair. I sent y'all the screenshots or just the pictures I took. I put Game Pass on my Steam Deck, which was actually relatively easy.
That screenshot was awesome.
It runs actually really well too. I think this might be the way, rather than having to run around with a controller and my phone. Just use the Steam Deck, and as long as I'm connected to a decent Wi-Fi, I've got a great cloud gaming.
How easy was it?
It was actually pretty easy. I think Microsoft even has a how-to on their website on how to do it. It's actually pretty easy. Other than that, my sister came down to help to celebrate my son's birthday. She brought her 4-year-old niece. It was the first time I had her here. She wanted to play with the toys in my room, which were Amiibo.
Oh no!
And things like that. So, and then
learning experience.
She asked about the Astro City mini arcade that I have over here on the shelf. She goes, "Is this a game?" I said, "Yeah." And so I booted it up and I let her play, and she was, she's 4. It wasn't the best thing, but she had some fun with it, and she'd play like 2 to 5 minutes on whatever. Okay, can I do another one on here? Can I do another one?
Fantastic.
Let's do something else. And then eventually she is very into Paw Patrol. So I knew that there were many Paw Patrol games on PlayStation, so I had to download one of the games on PlayStation and kind of walk her through that and let her play. That was quite an experience, and I've got some.
How was the game?
Okay,
not bad.
I mean, it's like a very basic action platformer kind of deal.
Okay.
It wasn't terrible. Collect-a-thon dealy.
Yeah.
So it, and then you have every different dog, and they have to like go over here. We have to help so and so fix his ski lift, and then you collect whatever parts, and then you get to a button mashing like a quick time event in order to actually fix the thing. But it's an okay game, and by the time she left, we played that maybe an hour, and I think I've got like 50% of the trophies.
Go for it, Brant. Go for completion.
Brant, do it just like I did Disney's Up. I platinumed that game.
Disney's Up for PS3. Was it a decent game?
Mm-hmm. I just platinumed. I don't remember anything from that game. I was like, let me get this trophy.
I like the movie Up.
Up is good.
But yeah, having PlayStation, I guess extra saved me there.
Clutch.
Being able to just download one of those. Going back to Game Pass, I booted up because I finally got everything set up, and I booted up I think GoldenEye on there, and it played pretty well. And then I had like 10 minutes. I started Starfield, which I sent you another picture of. Started walking through. It's it's a very Bethesda thing. You kind of come to, open your eyes. There's people talking to you. You walk through. You do a couple things, and then it dropped me into the character creator, which I was able to start a character.
And you spent 7 hours.
Game of the year.
Yeah, I was able to start character creation, and then I had something else to do. Like, damn it, I have to leave this alone for now. So I haven't had a chance to pick that back up. So, but it's one of those that I kind of want to start, but I'm on the fence because I hear good things, I hear mixed things. Certain people saying that, oh well, it takes several hours to actually get going.
That is the worst argument I feel like you can give for a game. You cannot do
they're like,
that.
oh, it's good, but you have to really get like 6 hours into it. Like you're telling me I have to invest 6 hours into a game before it gets good? Like I can't.
No.
I've got other things.
I could spend those 6 hours somewhere else. We're not without.
Oh yeah.
We're not without options.
I could play something I enjoy, or actually be an adult and
this is the first
get other things done.
Yeah, you always have something else vying for your time. This is the first Bethesda RPG I haven't dove into day one since like Oblivion.
Yeah, I wasn't clamoring like some people were, but I wasn't I wasn't diametrically opposed to it either. I wasn't like, oh, this is gonna be trash, and just like, oh, I want to see it when it comes out.
And you're doing that on Steam Deck?
And yeah, I started it on Steam Deck.
Tempted. That's compelling.
Telling you, it really wasn't that hard to set up. And there you go. You could do it in your bed.
I gotta finish. I've been saying I gotta finish Skyrim before I pick up another Bethesda RPG. It's just crazy. I'm at the end. I'm at the end of the game.
It'll never happen.
I'm at the end of the game.
You'll pick it up. You'll be like, oh, what was I doing? Oh, new save.
Oh no, I'm not. Let
me start a new file.
No. So many hours in.
That's half the time what I do is like I was like, oh, let me pick this back up. I get in. I'm like, oh, what the hell was I doing? I start doing something else. Just let me start a new save.
Oh, what did I do that with recently? Diablo 3 for Switch. It was horrible. I fired that up. I was like, what the? There's like, I have a companion following me. There's a bird flying around. What am I doing?
You don't recall any
Nope.
of this, right?
Was that your Gandalf gif?
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
I don't recall any of this. Looking around, I don't recall any of this.
Yeah, that's and yeah, just playing a little bit of. I did get heavy on the F-099 for like a day and a half.
Awesome.
It is pretty good. If you get a second, try it out, Richard. I think you'll like it.
I need to at least put my name in the bucket of, hey, we're interested in F-Zero. I'm one of them.
That sand race course.
Sandland. Oh gosh.
Oh god. Like every 85 different turns.
Yeah.
Holy god.
Those are some tight turns.
Music's great on there.
Oh yeah.
God
Music's
bless F-Zero
good.
music. Somebody was saying, one of my Twitter follows was like, hey, if you've been clamoring for new F-Zero, since we're not getting any, and this is the closest thing in a long time, there's tons of great ROM hacks out there. Like, you can get them on cartridges and everything. There was a Satellaview, like a BS F-Zero, kind of like the BS Zelda, and someone compiled a bunch of those tracks and put them on a cartridge. Hopefully we get the Game Boy Advance ones. Those aren't out on that service, are they? I know in the news...
Not yet.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 of those. 2? Maximum Velocity and then the anime-based one.
Mm.
The anime-based one's pretty expensive now, right?
Legend,
Yeah.
GP Legend or
I think
something,
that's the only
maybe?
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know.
Give us more F-Zero!
With this Kirby game that they just said's coming out, I think on their roadmap, all they have left is Golden Sun, if I remember correctly. It's the only thing that we saw in that little reel of stuff when they originally announced it that hasn't come out.
And
1080.
So I'm
guessing by the end of the year we'll get those things, and hopefully by the beginning of next year, or maybe by the end of this year, once they announce those, we'll see a new roadmap. of what's coming to these services, and it either that or they'll do what they're just doing with NES, and it's going to be random, sporadic titles every now and then. We don't know what they are. They just throw them out every now and here, play whatever this is. Reach into a random grab bag.
Shut the fuck up. Here's
They reach into the random grab bag. Here, do you want?
Here's a random dungeon and double dragon that Richard's gonna hate.
Here you go. Play that one.
So that's where I very recently saw a Double Dragon arcade machine, and I refused to play.
You made like fuck that face at it. You're like,
no thanks. Yeah. Speaking of Golden Sun, if you guys are Golden Sun fans, I know you are, but those listening to the show, Sea of Stars definitely scratches that that Golden Sun itch, especially with remember the people, the Camelot RPG people, be like, brr, 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 brr. They had like a sound bit when they talk to each other and stuff. So that's in there too. Is that it for you, Brant?
That's it for me.
All right. You guys got anything else you want to add?
I'm good.
nothing.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this week, and we will catch you next week. Bye.
See you.
Adios.